नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यप्रभुनित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please kindly forgive me. There was a delay in the start. We were facing some issues with the internet. So therefore we have restarted the video again. I had started off previously, but there was fluctuations in the internet and we couldn't continue. It was still streaming, yet loading, etc. But I'm very happy that now we are going live. This is session 21, continuing with our discussions on chapter 3, canto 8, the prayers of Gajendra. We have finished text 12 last evening. Today we will cover text 13 and 14, and then the meter changes from text 15 onwards, which we will take in the next session. So for today we will take text 13 and 14. So let us chant. क्षेत्रज्ञाय नमस्तुभ्यं सर्वाध्यक्षाय साक्षिणे पुरुषायात्ममूलाय मूलप्रकृतये नमः. Translation. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the Super Soul, the superintendent of everything, and the witness of all that occurs. You are the Supreme Person, the origin of material nature and of the total material energy. You are also the owner of the material body, therefore you are the supreme complete. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. This is text 13, and Prabhupada gives a very long purport explaining 2 points basically. Prabhupada explains about the verse from the third verse of the 13th chapter, the very famous Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata verse. And Prabhupada explains that with an example of a person who is the owner of the house and the other one who is on a rent in that house. Prabhupada gives that example in the first paragraph. In the second paragraph, Prabhupada talks about how everything has been created by Krishna and everything in this material nature works ultimately under Krishna's direction. Then Prabhupada gives examples and references from the Bhagavad Gita, very specifically the Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke verse and the Aham Bija Pradapita verse. These are very famous two verses. And in this way, Prabhupada explains the purport to conclude that Gajendra is offering obeisances, namaha, to that personality, Sri Krishna. So we will discuss this text and then we will get to text 14. So let us understand the different words here. Namastubhyam means namaha. Tubhyam means unto you. So just like we say mahyam for myself, tubhyam for you. Like that. So namastubhyam. Mahyam atma pada padma dasya dastu radhika. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the famous Radhika Ashtakam, he uses the word mahyam, which means unto me. Also we see Adadana Stranam Dantair Idam Yache Puna Punaha Srimad Rupa Padam Bhojau Dhulisyam Janma Janmani. When will that Rupa Goswami give me the dust from his lotus feet? Similarly, so here, Tubhyam, unto you. Namastubhyam. My Lord, unto you I offer my obeisances. Namaha. Who Namaha? Kshetrajñaya Namaha. Sarvadhyakshaya Namaha. Sakshine Namaha. Purushaya Namaha. Atmamulaya Namaha. Mula Prakritaye Namaha. So these different adjectives have been used. My Lord, I offer my obeisances to you, who's Kshetrajna. My Lord, I offer my obeisances unto you, who is Sarvadhyaksha. I offer my obeisances unto you, who is the Sakshi. I offer my obeisances unto you, who is the Purusha. I offer my obeisances unto you, who is the Atma Mula. I offer my obeisances unto you, who is the Mula Prakriti. Like that, these are the words. So when you see, when something ends in, let's say it ends in a shorter A, like Purusha, Atma Mula, Kshetrajna, Sarvadhyaksha, then when you use the word Namaha, you have to use Aya, Kshetrajnaya, Purushaya, Atma Mulaya, Sarvadhyakshaya. But why we don't say Mula Prakritaya? Oh, because it is not Prakrita, it is Prakriti. So when it ends in E, then it becomes Prakritaye. And Sakshin becomes Sakshine. So all of them have been properly used by Gajendra as far as the Sanskrit usage is concerned. So let us start our discussion on this verse. For those who are just joining us, who were not there yesterday, I can, if you want, very quickly give a brief overview of what we discussed and then dive in. I think that is better. Let me just do that. So yesterday's verse, we said, Namaha Shantaya Ghoraya Mudhaya Gunadharmine Nirvisheshaya Samyaya Namo Jnanaghanaya Cha. This was text 12. So where Gajendra tells Krishna, my Lord Shanta Ghora Mudha. You appear in a peaceful form as Shanta. You appear in a Ghora form, a very fierce form like Narasimha Dev. Shanta could mean Rama or Krishna. And Mudha, you externally appear to be in a form like that of the aquatic. Let's say Matsya Avatar. Keshavadrita Meena Sharira. Keshavadrita Kurma Sharira. Or Keshavadrita Sukara Rupa. Matsya Kurma Varaha. They may come under Mudha. Not just that, my Lord, Nirvisheshaya Samyaya Namo Jnana Ghanaya Cha. So Nirvisheshaya Samyaya, we explained yesterday, but for this brief overview, Nirvishesha Samya would refer to Buddhism. Just like we say, Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So Shunyavadi refers to Buddhism and Nirvisheshvadi refers to impersonalism. So what is voidism or Buddhism? What do we mean by Shunyavad? Shunya means zero and Vada means philosophy. So for example, if someone puts their hand up in the air and tries to catch through their palm, you try to grab some, just put your hand up and just wave it through the air and close your fists and now open up, you don't find anything. So the philosophy where you try to catch God and he doesn't come in your palms, and therefore you say, because nothing came in your palm, therefore God doesn't exist. It is nothing. Voidism. Instead of saying the fact that we are incapable of catching him, the philosophy where I am trying to catch and I'm not getting anything, which means there's nothing that exists. This is called voidism. It is very attractive for those who are at least on the path of ahimso paramo dharma. Those who want to follow, let's say, at least non-violence to start with. We understand how during Gautam Buddha's time, just before his time, there was a lot of violence with respect to the Vedic yajnik performances. People who had lost their Brahminical power to chant mantras, they would very irresponsibly slaughter animals and use them in the yajnas. Before that, the Brahmanas could chant mantras, remove the soul out of the body, sacrifice the old body of the animal, and then through Vedic mantras invoke a new fresh body and offer it to the soul. In this way, there was no loss of life, yet there was a sacrifice. But with time, when the Brahmanas lost their power to chant Vedic mantras and do the same, they started slaughtering animals and using them in the fire sacrifice. So Buddha, Lord Buddha, Nindasi yajna vidhe ahaha shruti jatam, snapayasi payasi kshamita pashu ghatam, keshava dhrita Buddha Sharira, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. In the Dashavatar Stotra, Jayadev Goswami describes Nindasi Yajna Vidhi. The Supreme Lord appeared as Buddha to stop this unnecessary animal sacrifice. Because he would come and ask them, why are you doing this? They would say, well, the Vedas are proclaiming that you must do animal sacrifice. But the proper understanding of the animal sacrifice was lost with time. So what did Buddha do? He told them that, okay, if the Vedas are saying this, then you just reject the Vedas. You just follow me. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. So he basically tricked them that you follow me and you reject the Vedas. So if you actually follow Buddha, you are at the feet of the Lord. So you don't need the Vedas. But then with time, this was even more spoilt, unfortunately. And then Sripad Adi Shankaracharya came, blessing Mother Earth with his presence to bring back the presence of the Vedas. So in this way, in the current of transcendental progression, we see how to stop ahimsa, the Supreme Lord appeared as Buddha. But when to stop ahimsa, he would say, where is it given? They would say the Vedas. He would say, just reject the Vedas and then accept me. So that is voidism. And then Shankaracharya came and he got the Vedas back in. So Nirvisheshaya Samyaya refers to that impersonalistic philosophy. Buddha gave voidism, and Dattatreya, Nama Jnana Ghanayacha, he gave impersonalism. So is God impersonal? Well, the answer is yes, and he's much more than impersonal. Classic example of that is, let's say you see the train for the first time in your life and it's pitch dark in your town, and you see the rail tracks being made, and for the first time as a child you're seeing the train, and it's dark at night and the train is coming, approaching. So first you see that there is a light, there is some lamp light of the train. So that light is so exciting amidst the dark that everybody would say, oh, the train is coming. But you don't see the train, you see the light. So kids run around saying, oh, we know what the train is. The train is a stream of light. But for those who stay there, instead of running away, they will see the bogie. They will see the first bogie with the engine, and they will see a person there driving it. So that is the second stage. And the third stage, if you stay still there, then you see it's not just one bogie, there are many bogies. The first one has the engine, and on the power of the engine, all the remaining bogies are being carried with so many people staying inside. And there are some eating, and there are some sleeping, there are some singing songs, some playing cards. So there are three realizations like that. So those who see God in the form of train first, and they see the light, and they run away thinking, oh, this is God, that is Brahman realization. This is impersonal. That God has no form and he's just light and energy or whatever. But if you just stay there, you will see that the first bogie comes in with a person driving. That is called Paramatma realization, where you see the driver of the train. But if you stay there, then you see the whole train with all its bogies and with all the members. This is Bhagavan realization. So Krishna comes and gives Bhagavan realization, Paramatma realization, and also impersonal Brahman realization, because it attracts different kinds and classes of men. So it is not wrong, it is correct, but it is imperfect. Is God impersonal? Yes, and he is way more than that, which means there is a personality behind the impersonal light. If you say he is only impersonal, that is where the problem is. But if is he impersonal? Yes, he is. And that's the first step. That's the light realization of the train. So in this way, in text 12, Shanta, Gora, Muda, Nirvishesha, and Jnana Ghana, all of them have been described by Gajendra. Gajendra says, you sometimes come to give voidism like Buddha, sometimes you come and give impersonalism like Dattatreya, and in the personal feature, you come as Shanta, Ghora, and Muda also. My Lord, you are very, very merciful. So this is text 12 for those who missed. Now is text 13. Let's start reading. Namastubhyam means to bow down, and as we mentioned previously, there are different invocations. Kshetrajnaya namaha, Sarvadhyakshaya namaha, Sakshine namaha, Purushaya namaha, Atmamulaya namaha, and Mula Prakritaye namaha. So what is this Kshetrajnaya namaha? So Kshetrajnaya namaha is an interesting phrase. kshetrajna. I want to go to what Prabhupada mentions in the purport. Prabhupada invokes this very beautiful verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha idam shariram kaunteya kshetram ityabhidhiyate etadyo veti tam praho kshetrajna iti tadvidah. This is for those who are trying to search. This is chapter 13, text 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, and the next one that Prabhupada quotes, 13:3. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yatta jnanam matam mama. So basically the word kshetrajna has been used. The word jna refers to janati, jnata, which means to know. So like for example in Sanskrit, for a scientist, the word is shastrajnah. Why? Shastram janati iti shastrajnah. Nya refers to janati, to know. In Hindi, janna. So shastram janati iti shastrajnah. He who knows that shastra is shastrajna, or the scientist. Similarly, the word kshetrajnah means kshetram janati iti kshetrajnah. Kshetrani janati iti kshetrajnah. Either way, like that. So he who knows the field. What field do we know? We don't even know our field properly, our own body. We know to some extent, but we don't know completely. Like for example, when we have an itch, we know where to itch because we have some information about our body. When there is pain, somebody pinches, oh, we know exactly where the pain is. But we don't know everything about our body. We don't know the number of hair strands we have. We don't know the number of pores in our body we have. We don't even know how the digestion takes place in our body. We don't know how the blood circulation takes place. We don't even know what is the heartbeat rate at the moment. We don't know our different body parameters also. The body that we are living in, we don't know. But still the soul is called Kshetrajnaha, the knower of the body in which he lives. At least we are conscious. You know, if there is pleasure, we know where the pleasure is. If there is pinching, we know where the pain is. Similarly, itch, etc. So we know we are trying to sneeze. We know we are almost about to yawn. So we have some idea about our body, but not everything. But Krishna is called here by Gajendra as Kshetrajnaya Namastubhyam. My Lord, we are not even properly aware of our own bodies, but you are aware of all the bodies at all times. Like for example, this whole world can be seen as Krishna's body. So just like we know where the pinching pain is, we know where the itch is, we know where the pleasure is. We know how it feels to eat sugar in contrast to eating salt. So we have some idea about it. So if you see the whole world, the whole creation to be Krishna's body, then if there is a war between India and Pakistan, then Krishna feels that like an itch somewhere in his body. So the whole creation with all the jivas, all the universes, everything is Krishna's body. So Krishna knows everything about his body, and his body includes everybody's body. So at all times, Krishna knows everything. But however, sometimes people argue at this point, at the Kshetrajna principle, to say that, well, there is no difference between Atma and Paramatma. Now as we are explaining, we say the Atma is Kshetrajna to some extent. He knows about his body to some extent. But the Paramatma or Bhagavan knows everything about everything. So, there is a qualitative and quantitative difference about who and how Kshetrajna we are. But sometimes people from the Mayavad school, they claim that, well, Jiva and Ishvara, no difference, one and the same. To break this point, only Krishna, in this verse, he says, 13:3 Bhagavad Gita, he says, Kshetrajnam cha api mam vidhi. Cha is used in the case of and. Kshetrajnam cha api mam vidhi sarva kshetrayeshu bharatah. O Bharata, O Arjuna, understand, you are kshetrajna about your body, but cha, and I am sarva kshetrayeshu. I know about all the kshetras, all the bodies. You are kshetrajna for your body, and I am kshetrajna for all the bodies. And where is the and conjunction here? Cha api in the Bhagavad Gita. So that cha, without that cha, it is difficult to identify whether the jiva is Kshetrajna or Krishna is Kshetrajna. Both are Kshetrajna. Jiva is Kshetrajna very in small quantity, but Krishna is Kshetrajna in unlimited quantity and quality. So Kshetrajnam cha apimam vidhi. In the Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, the cha adds so much importance. Like for example, if you and I go to a restaurant and we have something over the table, and then I say, I will pay. And you say, no, I am going to pay. And then I say, hey, why would you alone pay? I have also eaten, so I should also pay. So when I say I have also eaten, also, if for example it's no two people, I am only sitting on one side of the table, and when the waiter comes with the bill, I say I will pay because I have also eaten. The waiter will think I'm crazy because I'm the only one sitting there. But if two people are there, then it makes sense when I say I will also pay because I have also eaten. That also makes sense when there are two. So when Krishna uses the word cha here, which means and, naturally there is a second entity. So there is a difference between Jiva and Ishvara right then and there here in this verse. For those who think Jiva hi Bhagwan hai, Bhagwan hi Jeev hai, there is no difference between Jiva and Paramatma. There is no difference. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. It is the same Brahman through everyone. Well, then where is the second identity? If everything is one, everything is Bhagavan only, and we are all Bhagavan, then why would Krishna say cha in the Bhagavad Gita? So this is very important to understand. Kshetrajnaya. So we are knowers of our field, but Krishna is the knower of everything that exists. This is very interesting to know. Sometimes when we are in this body, we think that actually this body is meant for my enjoyment. But if you actually think about it, this body gives more suffering than happiness. Let's think about it. Today, from the time we woke up in the morning to now, how many minutes or how many hours have we actually got sukha or happiness in contrast to how much suffering we have had? Well, someone will say we didn't have much suffering, but we also didn't have so much sukha. If this body was meant for sukha, if we were the actual Swami, the actual master of these bodies, then we would be happy all the time and increasing happiness, because we can tamper the body to give happiness. But there is hunger and sleep and sorrow and laziness and lamentation. So there is so much that we face here. So actually we are just staying on rent. This body has been given by the owner. The landlord is Krishna. Prabhupada explains this example in the purport, that we are actually living on rent. What rent are we supposed to give? Service unto him. But we are taking these bodies from him and thinking that I am the owner, and then now we want to exploit. And that entangles us in further karma for future bodies. See, Krishna is how loving and how merciful. When we give a house on rent, someone comes, there's someone who's staying in the house, and then they move out. Then another person comes on a rental agreement. Then it's the same house that we give to the other person. But Krishna is so kind. He gives one body to a jiva, lets him live there till the time the body deteriorates to pieces, and then Krishna discards the body, and that same jiva he gives a new house now. And other jivas he gives newer. So it's just use and throw. Krishna makes a body exclusively for that jiva, and that is what we misuse. So we take these bodies on which we don't even understand and know properly, while Krishna so lovingly he allots them to different living beings at different times, in different places and circumstances, only and only to give, so that we can offer the rent of loving service to him. Like we know that there may be a farmer who may know little about his little field, or there may be a gardener who knows little about his garden. But the landlord, or let's say the king of that property, he knows everything about all the farmers. He knows which farmer has how much property. That farmer may know only about his field, his little crop, and how, what is the harvesting going on, and what is the season like, and when is it going to be profitable, etc., etc. But the king knows about all the fields and all the farmers. So that is the example of the jiva and Bhagavan. We are like the farmer who are trying to cultivate a small field of our body, or like a gardener who's trying to cultivate a small garden of our body. But Krishna is like the king who knows about all the gardens and all the gardeners and all the fields and all the farmers. So that is the expression to Kshetrajnaya. So Gajendra is saying, my lord, I am feeling some pain here, but I can understand you are feeling more pain because I am Kshetrajna to some extent, but you are Sarvakshetreshu Bharata. You know everything. You know the pain and pleasure of all the bodies in which all the jivas live. So my lord, when Gajendra is biting into me, I know that you are aware of this because my body is also your property. Kshetrajnaya namastubhyam. So that is the calling here. Now I'll quickly move to Moola Prakritaye Namaha and then I'll go backwards to make things more easier. So he calls Krishna as Moola Prakritaye Namaha. So what is Prakriti? Prakriti is nature and Moola means root. So this means that Krishna, you are the root of Prakriti. You are the root of this material nature. Like for example, when I was doing my undergrad, I remember I was doing my undergrad in engineering in Mumbai, and I remember at that time I had a friend he was from rural Maharashtra, and he hardly even spoke English. He would speak Hindi with mistakes, but he was only fluent in Marathi, and he would speak Marathi with a very heavy Gramin Marathi accent, with a very strong village accent. I evidently remember him. He was very scholarly, very scholastic, but he was finding it tough in the linguistics. I still remember his name was Nanda Kishore. So by looking at him, I would remember the Manasa Deho Geho Jo Kichu Mor Arpilo Tua Pade Nanda Kishore song. Nanda Kishore Bobade, that was his name. So he was from rural Maharashtra. He was very good in all the sciences and mathematics, but to understand the terms in English was a tough task because he had grown up in Marathi medium of education. So why I'm saying this story is because when I was with him in the undergrad, I remember for him to go back to so he was staying in Mumbai, right? So his family is not in Mumbai. His friends, his brother, sister, no one is in Mumbai except for one relative of his. And he lived with them for the 4 years of undergrad. So his family, his mother, his father, his sister, brother, they were all in rural Maharashtra. And only during vacation time, he had the chance to go back. So he was staying in Mumbai away from his family. While we were all staying with our family, we would go to the college from home where we lived because we were from Mumbai. But he, coming from a rural background, he left his family and he would stay in Mumbai during the undergrad. So where was he living? He was living with one relative of his in Mumbai. There was only one family known to him from I think his father's side, who were living in Mumbai. And he was living with them for 4 years, and only during vacation he would go back. So whenever he would address his relative with whom he stayed, he called them Ai and Baba. He would call them as mother and father. So actually speaking, they were not his parents. His parents were in the village, but he called them Ai and Baba, or mother and father. Why? Because they were maintaining him. They were maintaining him. And he was so happy staying there. He would say, when I am in the village, my parents try to control me. But when I'm living here in Mumbai, this Ai and Baba of mine, who were actually not his parents, some relative whom he called as his parents, out of his affection because they were maintaining him, he would say that they give him a lot of freedom in whatever he does. So this is an interesting example because we are like that. We are like that friend of mine. Our original home is the rural village of Brindavan. And our original parents are Radha and Krishna. But we come into the city of Mumbai, that is this material world, and we take up residence in the house of our relatives. That is Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva, whom we call as our parents because they give us a lot of freedom in this world. I hope this example is clear. In the spiritual world also we have freedom. But that freedom is out of love and affection. And in this world, there is freedom with respect to minute independence. You do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. Because Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva, they trust us with our maturity. So they are like our parents in this material world. So with the example, we understand, just like this friend of mine, He was so happy being in Mumbai away from his family because they gave him all the freedom that he ended up calling them as my mother and my father. And we do like that. We leave the spiritual realm and we come and settle down in this material world and call our parents, Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva, as our parents. And now we forget to go back to our village, which is Goloka Vrindavan. So the point I'm making here is Krishna is Mula Prakriti. So Prakriti here refers to that home of Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, or in my friend's case, that relative home in Mumbai. But that is not his home. His home is Mula, that is back to the village. So the root of his stay in Mumbai is his actual stay in the village. Because of that relation, he's able to stay here. So Prakriti or material nature is not our actual home. In fact, Prakriti, we belong to Krishna. Even Prakriti, this material nature also belongs to Krishna. Just like my friend belonged to his parents in the village, and the home in which he lived in Mumbai, those relatives also belonged to his family and parents in Mumbai. Because of that relation, he could stay. So similarly, we understand that our parents are actually Radha and Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, who are Mula Prakriti. They are actually the root of the Prakriti, the material nature in this world. And we come in this material world and we end up forgetting our actual parents. I remember in school, sometimes when the teacher would start a class and it's going to get boring, sometimes the previous teacher from the previous class has written so many things on the board, and the next teacher comes in now, and she is looking for a eraser or a board duster where she could erase all the writings on the board and start afresh. So she will just ask one of us that one of the kids that, can you go and get the eraser, the board duster from another class? And the kid would say okay, and he would leave, and the duster would be just in the opposite, let's say opposite class. You just take an board eraser from there, and you get into this class and give it to your teacher so that she erases. But now the kid knows, if he gets it quickly, she would erase it quickly and the class would begin, and he finds it very boring. So now, on the pretext of getting that that duster, he will go for a round so that the teacher is held waiting there and she doesn't have a board duster. So he goes to find the duster, and instead of just 10 steps away, he will climb like 2 floors up to get it from a specific class. And now when he has not come, the teacher will send another student. Okay, you please go and see where that student is. And in this way, 2-3 kids will leave. This is what happens in our situation also. We come in this material world only so that we bring the duster of bhakti and go back to the spiritual world. But then we forget. And then more and more acharyas are sent in this world to find us. Go and fetch this soul. Go and find him. Where is he? He's got lost. I told him to just get an eraser, a board duster, and he has lost his way. So in this way, we find this Prakriti to be so enchanting that we forget the mool, the root behind that Prakriti. We think this Prakriti in itself is the mool, the root of all joy, without understanding that this Prakriti has a root cause of happiness behind it. So this Prakriti is just the nature. But whose nature is this? It's Krishna's nature. While speaking, we oftentimes say that his nature is good, her nature is bad, etc. So we say this is Mother Nature. So Prabhupada would ask, so if this is Mother Nature, who is the father? And if this is nature, whose nature are we talking about? So that's the point that Gajendra is making here. My Lord, I am stuck in this Prakriti, forgetting the mool, the root of this Prakriti. Therefore, I'm calling out to you, not just pull me out from the jaws of the crocodile. Please kindly pull me out of this Prakriti, this material conditioning, so that I can come with you back home, back to God. So that is Mula Prakritiye Namaha. According to Sanskrit grammar, there is another meaning to this verse. So Prakriti, so Mool can, the word Moola can also refer to Prakriti, because in general, in colloquial usage, Mool means root. So when we say that, what is the root of all this? We will say, oh, it comes from nature. So Mool in itself can refer to Prakriti, and Prakriti has a meaning called Akriti. Akriti means form. So another meaning for Moola Prakriti means Krishna is the one who gives form to this material world. He is the one who colors this material world. He is the painter, and material nature is the painting. This is the art, and he is the artist. So that is another meaning according to the linguistic opening up of the words. As far as the word Atma Mula is concerned, Atma Mulaya, Gajendra is saying, my Lord, you are not just the Mula for Prakriti, the root for Prakriti, you are Atma Mula. You are also the root for my existence. I am Atma and you are my root also. So please, Prakriti belongs to you, I belong to you. You are the common factor between us. Just like in the Bhagavatam, Krishna says, Tvayopa bhukta shraggandha vasalankara charchita uchchishta bhojanam dasaha tava mayam jayemahi. Very beautiful. Uddhava tells Krishna that Krishna, Jivas belong to you, Maya belongs to you. Therefore, if the Jivas want to cross Maya, you being the common factor, your grace is important. Without your grace, your Jivas cannot cross your Maya. So similarly, Gajendra is saying, Prakriti belongs to you. In the Prakriti stuck, this Gajendra, I belong to you. My Lord, therefore, without your grace, I who belong to you cannot be out of Prakriti who belongs to you. So that is the meaning of Atma Mulaya. What is the meaning of the word Purushaya? Srila Sridhar Swami comments, Purvam sa te, Pura eva saha. He who has been present all through, from beginning. Purvam means, even before creation took place, Purvam sa te. Even before creation took place, he who existed is Purusha. Pura eva saha. He who has always existed, and there has been no destruction or creation to his existence. Sometimes people ask this question, if Krishna is God, how did he become God? Well, for something to become, there must be an influence of time. But here Gajendra is saying, Purvam Sate, you have always been Bhagavan, like that. Sarvadhyakshaya. What does Sarva Adhyaksha mean? Adhi means above, Aksha means eyes, Sarva means all. So Sarva Adhi Aksha. He who has his eyes from the top, like in the form of sun and moon, above everyone, Sarva. You see us at all times. Let's say, for example, we are on a Facebook live or a YouTube live or a Zoom video live session. There is a video discussion. We are very, very careful about how our tilak is, how we have made our hair, what we are wearing, what clothes, how is the lighting, how is our background. We see everything when there is a video, and we don't misbehave when we know that we are on a video, on a YouTube video or a Facebook video or on a video conference. So similarly, we must understand all of our thoughts and activities and words are constantly being recorded, video recorded from above by the eyes of Krishna. This is the meaning of Sarva Adhyakshaya. So Gajendra is saying, my Lord, you have a whole video footage of how I thought of myself, how this environment was so enchanting, how with my female elephants and friends and male elephants and children I came here to enjoy, how I entered to show off my grihastha skills, how I was serving everyone, giving them water to drink and pouring water like a shower, how this crocodile caught over, how I tried my best, how no one could help me, and how I'm calling out. This whole video footage you have, Sarvadhyakshaya. Therefore, my Lord, please help me. Sakshine. Sakshine refers to that overseer. So it can go with Sarvadhyaksha. He who is the Antaryami, who is always illuminating everything, yet at the same time, he is not influenced or stuck by any activity. Let's take text 14. Sarvendriya guna drashtre sarva pratyaya hetave asatachaya yoktaya sadabhasaya te namaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. My Lord, you are the observer of all the objectives of the senses. Without your mercy, there is no possibility of solving the problem of doubts. The material world is just like a shadow resembling you. Indeed, one accepts this material world as you because it gives a glimpse of your existence. So there are many beautiful lines here. First of all, Krishna is called as Sarvendriya Guna Drashtre. So what Sarvendriya Guna Drashtre means? It means something very significant. See, first of all, we get senses in our body: eyes, nose, ears, tongue, sense of touch, etc. We get all of that at birth. But who teaches us what to do with that? Who teaches us that we are not supposed to hear through our eyes or taste with our ears, and that we have to hear with our ear and see with our eyes? So, who fits these objects, first of all, these senses, first of all? Who creates the objects for these senses? Like, for example, who is fitting the eye, and who is teaching the jiva to see through the eye, and who is giving the object that has to be seen? Let's say there is a laptop in front of the eye. So Krishna creates the laptop, Krishna creates the eye, Krishna creates the light through which we can see. Krishna fits in the knowledge of the jiva that he has to see through the eye and not through the nose. So all of this naturally given. So Krishna gives the senses, the eyes, nose, etc. Krishna gives the objects of those senses: vision, sound, taste, touch, smell, etc. He gives us the power to do it, how to do it. He gives us the energy and the coordination in the body, how to use those senses. And when we exploit those senses, he is the one who notes them and gives us karmic reactions. Yet at the same time, he comes in this world and gives us knowledge through the Bhagavad Gita how not to enjoy those senses. And if we don't enjoy those senses, then the benefit of austerity, that also he notes. And inside also he sits as Paramatma and guides us. Oh, you should do this. Oh, you should not do this. And gives us the guilt factor. So he's holding the switch also. This is the meaning of Sarvendriya Gunadrashtve. We can make artificial replacements. We can make a pacemaker. We can put some plastic leg. We can put some fitting in the body. Artificial we can make. But all the doctors put together, all the scientists put together, they cannot even make a mosquito. They cannot even make one living being in this world. What to speak of one living being? They cannot make an accurate sense object or a sense. Krishna, like for example, to remove cataract from one eye, it may take a few $1,000s. But Krishna is giving a fresh eye to every jiva. He is not giving a second-hand eye. Like in this world, we see there is refurbished models. Laptop also refurbished, house also refurbished, and then second-hand, third-hand. Cars also you see. So many miles, thousands of miles have been driven, which model this is. But Krishna gives all of our senses brand new. When someone is born, Krishna does not take the cataract eyes from someone who's just dead and give it fit into the socket of a new child, a freshly born, newborn child. Krishna gives everything original. So to remove cataract, we have to pay thousands of dollars to a doctor. How much money will take to get a fresh eye? You can't even imagine. Krishna fits 2 eyes, gives 2 ears, gives 1 tongue, gives brain, gives heart, gives all these senses with hands and legs, and does the coordination from inside. And all of this now is the master stroke. Krishna gives it for free. Why? So that we use it in his service and become happy. Krishna knows about all his senses in all the species at all times and space. This is the meaning of Sarvendriya Gunadrashtre. Krishna, this feet that this crocodile has caught, this feet belongs more to you and less to me. So my Lord, please come. Gajendra is giving so many intellectually profound, philosophical, formidable reasons why Krishna should come. Also, Sarvendriya Gunadrashtre has a very interesting meaning. Like, for example, we think that we are the seer and Krishna is the seen. We go to the temple, we see the deity, and we go there not to be seen by the deity, but we go there to see the deity. We go to see how the pujari has done seva today, how the garlands are, how the clothes are, what kind of shringar, etc. So we go as the seer, but we see Krishna as the seen. But it's the other way. Krishna is the seer and we are the seen. For example, if I have to pick a bottle of water which is next to me, first my hand cannot see the bottle. First my eyes have to see the bottle, and then the eyes, the mind, the coordination takes place and the hand moves to the bottle. It calculates the distance between my hand and the bottle, and then there is motion, there's proper coordination, and then I drink, and then the eyes now see where it has to be placed, and then the hand goes. So between the eye and the hand, the eye is seeing first where the bottle is and where it has to be kept, and then the hand goes accordingly. Similarly, Krishna, the Paramatma, is the first seer, and then we see. He is the first listener of our prayers. He is the first seer, and then we see. So in this way, this has to be understood. Chakshu yasya narishyate. He sees everything without blinking his eyelids. This is the meaning of Sarvendriya Gunadrashtre. When I was growing up, we used to have this ad of Vodafone. It used to be called Hutch, I believe, at that time, the carrier. So they used to have a song. You and I in this beautiful world, green grass, blue sky, in this beautiful world. So it's basically like a child running with a hutch dog, a puppy dog. And their saying was, wherever you go, we follow. It's like the dog follows the boy wherever he goes. So it's like their network is so good. It's like AT&T or T-Mobile. Wherever you go, we follow. But this is actually, who can claim this? Only Krishna can claim this. When Prabhupada used to take his son Vrindavan Chandra as a child out for a market, once Vrindavan Chandra looked up and he said, "Oh father, look, the same moon whom we can see from our window at home is now also above. So that moon is seeing everything." And he laughed, and Prabhupada said, "Yes, similarly the moon of Vrindavan, Krishna sees everything." So who can say, you and I in this beautiful world, green grass, blue sky, in this beautiful world, wherever you go, we follow. The AT&T or T-Mobile or this Vodafone Hutch, they can't claim this. Only Krishna can say, wherever you go, we follow. Like sometimes in the classes I see, we'll be sharing a Hare Katha discussion, facilitating. And at that time, there will be one Mataji who has her child going around playing. So she's listening. You can see in the eyes that she's listening. But as she is listening, immediately you can see every 30 seconds or 60 seconds, her eyes are moving to see where her child is. And if she sees her child is next to the stairs or something, even if the class discussion is the glories of Radharani or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the mother leaves and goes there to see her child so that the child doesn't fall, the child doesn't put his hand into fire, he doesn't topple over a ball, he doesn't hold something which is very heavy, he doesn't crush his feet under the door, he doesn't put his hand somewhere, So the mother is always vigilant. She will tell the child, you can play, but at the same time her eyes are looking. With the ear she's listening, and you can see the mother sometimes nodding in the middle of the class. But then again, after the point is over, she's looking around to see her child. So similarly, if one mother in one body can be so attentive towards her child, imagine how attentive Krishna will be as the Supreme Mother. At every moment, he has his eye on all living beings. What are they doing? I hope they don't hurt themselves. I hope they don't do something which will cause them another birth. I hope they do something which will take them out of this material world. Like, for example, there is a saying, our human form is so rare. We have to be very careful what we spend our time in. Whatever we spend our time in, we are paying for it with our human life. You see, very deep statement. If we watch a cricket match, for example, 3 hours, for getting the pleasure to know whether India won or Pakistan won, we are ready to pay with, the pay is not the ticket. The pay is 3 hours of invaluable human form. So you see, we have to be very careful what we give our time for. So Krishna, like the Supreme Mother, is always having his Sarvendriya Gunadrashtre. My Lord, like every mother, you're having your attention on all babies. I hope you're having your attention even on me. Sarva Pratyaya Hetave. What does Sarva Pratyaya Hetave mean? Prabhupada explains, Sarva Pratyaya Hetave means, Krishna, you are that person after coming at whose feet all the doubts and contradictions are solved. So what is the doubt for Gajendra at the moment? Whether I will survive or no. If I survive, what will be my future? If I die, what will happen to my family? So it is a confusion. So therefore he says, Sarva Pratyaya Hetave. Prabhupada translates that as, by whose mercy there is no possibility of getting confused, without whose mercy there is no possibility of solving any problem of doubt. So if you come at the feet of Krishna, all doubts, all confusions are taken away. Like we were previously discussing, can Krishna, what is Krishna's strength? Can he lift a hill? Oh yes, he can lift Govardhan. But at the same time, can he lift slippers? Oh, very difficult. The slippers of Nanda Baba, he keeps on his head and he is wobbling and doubling. But the same Govardhan he lifts like a child lifts up a mushroom and he's having a smile. Kala Yavana is running behind Krishna and he cannot catch him. Krishna is walking and Kala Yavana is running, but he cannot catch Krishna. But the same Krishna, Mother Yashoda, is running with a stick behind him. And not just running, she's catching him, catching hold of him. He's crying for his life and she's binding him also. You see all contradictions. Krishna is a bundle of contradictions. He is so soft that he can make our hard hearts melt with his flute. So can he be caught? Well, by Kala Yavana? No. By Yashoda? Yes. Can he lift? Well, father's slippers? No. But Govardhan? Yes. So in this way, Krishna's lotus feet is the place of all contradictory confusions and bewilderment being solved. This is the point. Prabhupada used to say, Krishna conscious philosophy is perfect philosophical solution for all problems. See, all problems. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Sarvato pani padaustat sarvato kshi shiromukham. Krishna says, oh, my hands and legs are in all directions. In fact, my eyes are in all directions. I see everything, Krishna says. But Krishna, that same Krishna who says he can see in all directions, when Mother Yashoda ran behind him with a stick, he could see ahead, he could see to the sides, but he was very afraid to see behind. So in the Gita, he says he can see in all directions. But as far as the field of love comes into picture, he cannot see behind because he fears if he sees behind when Mother Yashoda is running, his speed will reduce and he will be caught. So in this way, all answers are satisfactorily given in Krishna conscious philosophy. By chanting the holy name and studying Shastra, all doubts can be solved. Like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he had no material qualification. He had not studied anything. But any philosophical topic, he could give a very profound explanation. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was given the title of Saraswati early in his childhood, he surrendered his life to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who had not read or heard anything. Just by chanting 2-3 lakh of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Harinam every day, all knowledge got revealed in his heart. Vidya Vadu Jivanam. Vidya, transcendental knowledge, like a chaste wife, follows the heart of a person who does Harinam Bhakti, Hari Bhakti, Harinam Bhajan. So, Yasmin Vijñarthe Sarvamevam Vijñatam Bhavati. If one knows Krishna, who knows everything, then one knows everything. No more doubts in life. So, Gajendra is calling Krishna as Sarva Pratyaya Hetave. I am having this doubt and confusion and bewilderment, and you are the perfect person I can approach. Now, the final phrase for tonight, Gajendra says, Asata Chaya Yoktaya Sad Abhasaya Te Namaha. What is Asata? Asat means that which is not Sat. Sat means Satya. That which is not Satya. But what is it? Chaya. It is simply a reflection. It is simply a shadow. Sad Abhasaya Te Namaha. My Lord, this material world is simply a shadow reflection of your personality. It is Asat and it is shadow. And Sad Abhasa. Abhasa means you can have some idea. Sat means truth. Krishna, you have created this universe in such a way that by looking at Prakriti, which is Asat, temporary manifestation, by looking at the qualities of Prakriti, one can have an idea of the true qualities of your personality. Like for example, when when you move your hand, sometimes there are these shows, you see, they play, I have personally seen, there are shows where they switch off all the lights and there's just one light. And different people, they show their hands and fingers in front of that light. And people are looking at the wall. As they look at the wall, by the light coming through the hand, you can see different kinds of shadow and reflections on the wall. And it's like an entertainment. Like one person keeps a hand in the form of a deer, and another person makes a hand of a tiger, and you're looking at the wall. They are playing with their hands, and the light is carrying this shadow on the wall. And by looking at the wall, you see, oh, a tiger is chasing a deer, and the deer is running for life. So actually, if you see, there is no deer and there is no tiger. But why is there that shadow? That is there because there is real hands working. So by looking at the reflection, you know somebody is moving their hands. So similarly, Gajendra is saying, my Lord, just by looking at this material world, which is like a shadow, like a deer and a tiger shadow, one can understand your fingers, your hands are moving. Asata chayaya uktaya. By looking at this chaya, one can understand there is sat abhas. There is, one can have an idea of your true personality. Like for example, if there is, let's say there is sun reflected in water, sun reflected in water, and that water is going and hitting against a mirror. So just think about it. There is sun reflecting on a water surface, and that water is flowing and hitting a wall, or let's say a mirror. So if someone is looking at the mirror, they will think, oh, the sun is coming from the water. But when they look at the water, they understand, oh, this is actually reflecting a sun which is far, far away. So similarly, we are looking at the mirror of this world, and we think this is coming from the water of Prakriti. But when we analyze Prakriti very closely, we understand there is a sun which is Krishna, far, far away. So Gajendra is saying, just by looking at the beauty of this world, which is asat, which is a chaya, which is a reflection, which is a shadow, we can understand how beautiful your qualities are. By looking at the painting, you can appreciate the painter. By looking at the creation, you can appreciate the creator. By looking at the colors of the flowers and the taste of the fruits, one can appreciate how artistic, how beautiful Krishna may be. So in this world, you see all temporary things are taken to be truth. Now here Gajendra is using the word asat, therefore I am elaborating. Asat means that which is fake. In this world, fake things are regarded so high that there is a whole market of fake jewelry. And people they know it is fake, but they're mobbing over the place. There is so much demand for fake jewelry. Also, people who are faking it, they're called as actors. Not just called actors, they're called good actors, bad actors, and they're also given lifetime achievement award and debut acting and whatnot. So it's a whole industry of fake behavior. So you just act something that you are not, and you make a lot of money because there are people ready to buy that asat. But Gajendra is saying, instead of buying that asat, one should understand, if the fake is having so much attractive potency, how about the truth, whose shadow is the fake? Like for example, you see in this entertainment industry, which is all fake, you see all these models and all these actors, they have so much makeup, and they have lights, proper lighting, and then background music and fake nails and fake eyelashes and so much cosmetic and super imposition of music. And above that also they have all these stuntmen, double body. Somebody is jumping from this building to that building, all fake. It seems as if this actor is doing. So his looking is fake, the background music is fake. Dialogues also sometimes he's not saying. It is just some lip sync. And sometimes songs also lip sync. So in this way, we see that they may externally seem to be very beautiful on screen, but if you meet them at home without all that makeup, then it is very, very scary. So instead of chasing that asat, what one should think, Gajendra is saying here, one should think that if the asat is so beautiful, what to speak of the sat? If the model can be so beautiful, what to speak of the gopis of Vrindavan? If this so-called fake fellow has so much body and muscles and strength, imagine the source of everything, Sri Krishna. So those who can see the world here and remember Krishna, they are making advancement. But those who see and hear the pastimes of Krishna and remember the world here, that is not first class. So we have to understand that Maya being Asat also looks beautiful, and Krishna being Sat also looks beautiful. But what is the difference? Maya brings Dukkha and Krishna brings Sukha. Krishna's qualities are superimposed in this world, and therefore they look attractive. Maya is like the wife following the husband. Sometimes, in our house, I've seen when some guest come, they will be sitting. So sometimes my mother, myself, we will all be there. And my father will sometimes just point to me or my mother that, can get something to eat. So we will go in the kitchen and we will make some arrangement. So he may not say, he may just, by action that they have come. So you can, and by then the family, my brother, myself, or my mother, we arrange the things. So similarly, Krishna, by his glance, he just dictates, and Prakriti or Maya does everything. So externally, it seems as if the mother or the children are bringing the food or snacks or juice or whatever. But it is the father who first glances and gives direction that you please kindly do it. So if Maya is following Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Ichhan Rupam Apiyasya Tacheshtate Sa Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Brahma is saying that Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Ichha Anurupam. Maya or Prakriti moves according to the Ichha of Krishna. Just like a shadow follows the person. But if one is so absorbed in the shadow that they forget to appreciate the person, then that is foolishness. By looking at the reflection of the mango, one should not be so absorbed in the reflection, but one should be intelligent to see if the reflection is looking so good, let me look up to see the actual mango. That is what Gajendra is saying. My Lord, Sarvendriya Gunadrashtre, you know all the senses, you give everything, you are the overseer, and Sarva Pratyaya Hetave. I am having this bewilderment, what is going to happen to me, and your lotus feet is known to solve all contradictions. Asata chaya yoktaya sad abhasaya te namaha. My Lord, just by looking at the thing in this world, which means, now here's the most interesting take-home point of Asata Chaya Yoktaya Sada Bhasaya Te Namaha. My Lord, by looking at the potencies in this world, we can understand your potency, which means if this crocodile to whom I don't belong, if he can hold on to me so tightly that he may not let me go, my Lord, I eternally belong to you. How tightly you will hold me so that I don't go in this material world or into the mouth of the crocodile. If this crocodile with whom I don't have sambandh, relation, is holding on to me without letting me go, my Lord, how much more is your power potency where you don't let go of your devotees, you don't let down your devotees who call out to you. So in this way, Gajendra has finished up to text 14. So tomorrow, Thursday, that is April 9th, we go again from 7 to 8 Eastern Standard Time, same place, same time, all of us meeting together, and we'll start from text 15 of Gajendra Stuti. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.